Well, hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Richard and this is Lap of the World, your home for road trips, racetracks, and lately some weird car electronics projects. We are on a side quest today though from the reconstituting the NSX's audio system to take care of another kind of while you're in there item. Now this is probably something that is common to any older car, especially anyone that has a propensity to need its doors worked on. With the NSX, that's typically something like a window regulator replacement or window track adjustment or audio system work or something along those lines. Doing some of those activities, not the audio system typically, but dealing with the windows requires the removal of the plastic sheets that are inside your doors, the vapor barriers. And as anyone knows who has tried to remove one of those to do some kind of work like that, they don't always come off gracefully. It's probably an understatement. In fact, I think a lot of the time people just kind of rip them out of the way and throw them out. Now that may be a bad idea because I've heard some horror stories from cars from the 70s and 80s where if you didn't have that plastic sheet glued perfectly in place, water would just pour into the cabin from the window tracks. But the NSX doesn't have that affliction, thankfully. But what it does have is some fairly worse for wear vapor barriers in my case. Like this one is the passenger side, complete with about a quarter of it missing. There's some duct tape down here, and this is the pretty one. So I want to take care of this because it'll have a couple of benefits to me. It can help with the longevity of the door-mounted electronics that are inboard of the vapor barrier, and namely the speakers and speaker boxes. And since I've had so much trouble with that, anything I can do to keep from having to do that again very soon, I'm going to do it. It should also, replacing the vapor barrier should also make the air conditioning or climate control job, should make it a little bit more efficient, or make its job at least a little bit easier is where I was going with that. Hopefully make it a little nicer place to be in the cabin in the humid Tennessee summer that we're in the midst of at the moment. But without any further ado, we're going to get into it. I already had the door cards off, obviously, from the previous video. I'll put a little quick walkthrough of that again. And then I've already removed what was left of the driver's door panel, or driver's door vapor barrier, so that's where we're going to start. First, a refresher on removing the door panel. First, remove the plastic trim triangles at the front and rear of the door. They are just clipped in, but can be stubborn. Next, remove the forwardmost leather-trimmed panel behind the door pole. It may also require some encouragement. Next, remove several screws, one electrical connector, and the door latch cable to remove the door latch and handle assembly. Now, find the 6 or 7 screws behind the inner weather stripping that hold the door card on and remove those. Carefully untuck the screw tabs from the weather stripping. These little tabs can be brittle. You should now be ready to pull the door card loose but not off. Pull firmly upwards and towards you. Once it comes loose, stop. It's time to mangle your fingers unplugging stubborn wiring connectors in close proximity to machined metal brackets. Tilt the panel towards you and disconnect the 5 remaining connectors. Once you finish bleeding and swearing, take the door card away, and you should now have access to the speaker units. Remove the 5 or so screws, unplug the connector, and remove it from the door, and you should now have full access to whatever is left of your vapor barrier. Start by peeling off whatever remains of the plastic sheeting, taking as much of the adhesive with it as you can. Next, find something like an expired membership card or plastic scraper and scrape off the rest of the putty-like glue. Once you finish scraping, I found that a citrus-based bug and tar remover worked great on the residue left. To create your new vapor barriers, start by cutting and mocking up a roughly sized section of plastic sheet on the door. Mine were about 48 by 18 inches in freedom units. I'm not sure how that translates to metric, but you have Google. Next, trace the outline of the channel where the glue was on the plastic and mark where the wires, door lock rod, and latch cable will protrude. Cut the plastic to shape and cut openings. Remove the plastic and apply some 3M Window Weld or equivalent where the old glue was, then reapply the plastic. I went back and used some house sheathing tape where I'd cut the plastic to hopefully prevent any of the slits from propagating over time. So starting with the door already disassembled, it probably took me 2.5 to 3 hours to completely finish installing the new vapor barriers. Now that's while I'm filming stuff, so take that with a grain of salt. Everything takes between 2 and 8 times as long to do while you're trying to film yourself doing it. Factor back in the initial door disassembly if yours aren't already apart for some other reason. You could probably budget a couple hours to do it, taking your time and being careful. If I had to do it again, I don't think there was much I would change. If you have or can procure a stiffer, like Teflon scraping implement, that would probably make the removal of the old glue putty stuff go a little quicker. And then I might opt for, budget no object. I might opt for an equally thick translucent or transparent plastic. That might save you a couple of minutes in marking where you need to make your cuts for your wires and things like that. Now the stuff I used, and again I'll leave a link in the description to all the stuff that I used for this, and I'll give community members Robert C. and Joe G. credit for the window weld recommendation. That was clutch in my opinion. That made it very easy to reapply. I was expecting to deal with a real mess trying to do some kind of glue caulk solution, but the window weld was a cinch. The plastic I used, which I have a scrap of here, is really resilient stuff. I didn't know what to think of this. I read some reviews of it. A lot of people were using it just sort of as like light reflecting cloth or blackout curtains or things like that because it's one side to the other. One benefit I did think of this is that the black side of it facing the outside of the door should theoretically anyway, cut down on the emissivity heat transfer from the outside of the car to the inside if it's hot outside. But I think that's probably a minor benefit at best in comparison to the rest. But this stuff is pretty stout. I will, really attempting to tear it or poke my fingers through it. I can do it, but it is not easy. I definitely, it cut really easy with the scissors and the shears that I was using or the razor knife that I was using, but having accidentally stabbed a couple of pieces of it with a screwdriver, that did not just go straight through. So I do have some confidence that it will be, hopefully resilient enough that if I do have to take it apart again in the future to do something with the windows or get behind it to do wiring, that I'll be able to actually remove it and reapply it without obliterating it. So fingers crossed there. But anyway, we are done for now, I think. I will be F5ing my mailbox and front porch for some packages here so we can continue what we were doing with the speakers in hopefully the next video that you'll see. And so until then, I'm Richard. This continues to be Lap of the World, and I will see you guys in the next video, if not at the track.